My mother would tell me, we're going to get school pictures for your sister this year, but you're not looking good enough to get them for you. The sheriff showed up at the front door of my mom's house. We, as kids, didn't really know what was going on.
Tell me about your experience from kind of really coming up until you went into foster care.
My mom and dad were divorced fairly early. A couple years later, my mom was remarried. She got into foster care, so we started bringing kids in who needed help. Unfortunately, those kids had issues coming into the house. It resulted in some sexual abuse over the course of a couple years.
Okay.
That kind of snowballed into my sister and I actually being removed ourselves and being put in foster care.
So share with me a little bit about the experience of what it was like when you went to foster care.
The sheriff showed up at the front door of my mom's house, and we, as kids, didn't really know what was going on. We had been pulled out of school earlier that day to come home for an unknown reason. It was very odd. And unfortunately, my mom had made some decisions where she was choosing someone else over us. And at some point, CPS came in and took control of the situation and pulled us out.
So then over time, you went back to your family.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened then?
My mother, I now know, is mentally ill. And I think that the incident that occurred previously, she just felt like, for whatever reason, that tarnished her life. And she was embarrassed by it. And instead of embracing me and loving me and loving me through that pain, she chose to verbally abuse me, put me down, and applied a lot more shame that I was already feeling from the incident, and she just magnified it. And I recall instances where my mother would tell me, we're going to get school pictures for your sister this year, but you're not looking good enough to get them for you. And that's just not something you should ever tell a child.
You're a single mom, you were 20 years old, you were making
$8 an hour.
$8 an hour, and you bought a home.
I did.
And that was a turning point.
An absolute turning point.
So then what happened?
So actually, it's funny, there's certain people that come into your life that touch your life, and they don't realize what an impact they made. But the loan officer that helped me get the loan for that particular property, she took me out to lunch after we closed because it wasn't exactly an easy transaction. And so she really made me sit and feel it and realize this is a really big deal of what you just accomplished. And you need to understand that people like you that buy houses and make stuff like this happen at such a young age, they turn into millionaires when they get older. And I just remember thinking, millionaire? What?
Who be?
What? I don't even know how to accept or believe that. I really don't. I just remember thinking, what an odd thing to say to someone. And you really got to be careful what you think about, dream about. Because soon after, I got the bug for real estate. I'm a real estate agent right now. And by the time I was 26, I had multifamily properties, started buying fourplexes, threeplexes, duplexes, and built a very large portfolio for myself. And at some point, I technically reached millionaire status by the time I was 30. And then everything started kind of going wrong. You know, the market shifted. I over-leveraged myself on some of my portfolio, and it all came crashing down.
So when you started pushing back up the hill for the second time, what got you there, do you think?
I literally was living out of my car. I let my life get that bad that I was living out of my car. And I thought, what's the one thing that I can do to change my life right now? And it just came to me, go help someone else. Go help them right now. And so I remember raising money for this family, and we brought them in and introduced them to the crowd. And here I am having to borrow gas money to go pick up our speaker for the event because I was that broke. Air conditioner didn't work. We were in Sacramento, so it's 100 and something degree weather. And I'm on YouTube trying to figure out how to fix it myself because I'm pretty resourceful. But I mean, I was that broke. And here I am raising thousands of dollars for another family. The minute
feels
that,
good, doesn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
It was exactly what I needed. And it's so funny because as soon as that happened, all of a sudden my business just started picking up out of nowhere. And that was one of the biggest lessons of my life of when you're down, go help somebody. It'll turn everything around.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. Look at your life today and the girls that you're helping. And they're coming probably from similar foundations. If you could give them 3 pieces of advice, what would they be?
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that anything is possible. In a million years, I would not have thought I would have accomplished what I've accomplished. I just would never have thought that. And I think it does go back to our conversation about who you surround yourself with. If you, like for me, unfortunately, I have made the decision to remove my mother from my life. She's just not a healthy person for me, and I'm better because of it. And so I don't necessarily suggest that. And yet be very aware of who you're around and what kind of conversations that you're having, because it's influencing your decisions of who you're becoming. Once I realized I have control over what my life looks like. I can have, do, and be anything I want. The biggest
say
I
that
can
again.
dream.
I
can have, be, and do anything I want. It doesn't matter if someone thinks it's crazy. It doesn't matter if someone thinks I can't do it. I walked into countless real estate offices when I bought my first house and they laughed at me. Don't waste my time, little girl type of conversations. And I tuned the noise out. It was just noise. You can't look at external sources for that belief of yourself. You just can't.
Say that again.
You cannot look for external sources to believe in yourself. Are you going to validate me? Are you going to validate me? Because you're going to be disappointed. No one's going to love you like you. And I just learned these last couple years that I need to love myself and look at that climb that I already accomplished and know I've done it once. I can absolutely do it again. I'm completely capable of it. It all comes down to my thinking and what I'm telling myself.
These women's stories are so impactful. Arras Sisters creates opportunities for women.